Welcome back, everyone, and if you're new here, hey, we're glad you found us. So, 85% of you are watching without being subscribed. We'd greatly appreciate if you'd take that time to hit the subscribe button and show your support. This week's episode, we're going to be working on the floor in the pilot house, so stick around to the end and see how it turns out. So it looks like we're right on the edge of that old floor. Looks like a 2x6 will do it. Luckily, we only have to run, I don't know. I'm gonna say we're only gonna run 2, maybe 3 2x6s across. No need to do any more than that. $78.50, and then we'll cut it at diagonal so it fits nice and tight to the hull. We'll get all this laid out and then we'll do one big glue up session. Hopefully this weekend while it's still nice. Epoxy likes to cure a little faster that way. As you all can see, it did not fit the first time, so we gotta trim this up. Looks like we're about a 1/2 inch, maybe. Well, as you guys can tell, we're still a little high. Okay, after a little playing around, I think I figured out what I'm gonna do. Got this offcut here that pretty much just slides right under it nice and tight. So on the back side here, you're not going to see it, but I'm going to trace the marker like that. Reason for it is these Yukons have little runners that go down and they're hollow. So we're going to get on some nice solid glass and make our relief cuts that way. See, it's sitting pretty flush there. We're still a little high over here, so that's going to be expected because it's not. It's setting nice and flush or plumb now, level. As the observant viewer will notice, we missed our mark by maybe an 1/8 inch. I think I measured on the wrong side of the saw blade, to be honest. Wasn't compensating for the blade width. That's unfortunate, but over 4 foot, well, really probably closer to 10 foot all the way up to the bow. It's not going to be that bad. So we'll just keep it going. That's pretty much level right there. Maybe an 1/8 inch off. I guess now the question would be, does the guy trim up his board right there or build it all into one assembly? Yeah, I think trimming is probably the way to go. I think that's perfect. All right, it's the next morning here in central Illinois. Of course, we're 50 degrees. It was a low of 36 overnight, so there's your weather report. At least maybe it won't be 85 degrees in here today. So, yesterday I had the doors open, and today they're closed, and I don't know, it feels about 65 in here right now, so should be all right. Let's get started. I think what I want is I want to have a little hatch right here because we've got some pretty good space. It's one thing to keep in mind when you're boat building. You want to try to utilize every little square inch you can. So, okay, that worked out exactly like I wanted it to. All right. Don't break the windows. So as you can see, we got a little bit of a gap. It's not even setting right on the deck there. So we need to come in just a little bit. That side's a little better. So I'm not going to have to worry about it too much. But looks like we got everything just about on the right angles, using that as a template. So in case everyone's wondering, like, you're not measuring from the back or any point, I measured the top rails and set everything accordingly. So it's kind of how we're doing that. I probably just didn't film it. So we got marks to know that our frames are where they need to be. And then we'll do the same thing here once we get them cut in. I'll measure them and mark them. That way we know where they go. Decided to go ahead and mark our line for getting the floor level. So we do have a little bit of a gap here now, but eyeballing that 2x4, it kind of bends. Looks like we're pretty much right on the money where we need to be. Need to do a lot of trimming on this right here. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to half lap that joint. That way we don't lose the main strength of this going across the large gap. No need to go over that extra 6 inches. Okay, so we're still maybe 3/4 of an inch proud on those lining up, so we're gonna have to make a series of diagonal cuts probably to get that to shape. That's our angle as the tunnel's coming down, meeting that. Might be a little steeper than that, but That might actually see if we can make like a 45 first and see if that'll be enough. Okay, so we got pretty close that time around. We're closer. All right, folks, I can feel it. This is the one. Man, we're like, I don't know, maybe a 16th, if that. Really, you press down on it and it goes flush, so I might just call that good. I think we'll start with that. Not bad for a few hours worth of work. We're not glued in yet though, so that's another maybe hour. That's all for this part of the floor project. We'll get to the rest of it next week. Start laying down plywood and get everything put together. Appreciate you all tuning in. Okay, so we're going to take some of this Bondo glass here, and it's fiberglass reinforced Bondo.